Hello, and welcome to Project Awesome Dev Vlog or Vlog 3. In this video, I'm going to show you my project. I've been working on a game for a couple of months now. I actually started this game about a year ago, and I made a very early experimental prototype, and then I dropped it for quite a while, and I picked it back up about a year later, which is like a month and a half ago. And I've basically been rebuilding the game from the ground up. So allow me to show you this current state of the early prototype that I am at right now. So currently it's in a state where it's actually technically a playable game. It's very bare bones and there's a lot of content missing, but it is actually a playable game. So honestly, I'm very proud of this as it stands, but I acknowledge that there's a lot of work to do and stuff. Don't get me wrong. So it's very much a work in progress. I just want to make a video showing you what it looks like currently. Keep in mind that I'm an artist and I don't really have any programming skills and so on. So for me, doing this kind of stuff is very mind-blowing, and I mean, I feel really good about what I've achieved so far, and I cannot wait to get working on some more stuff here. So this is Project Awesome. It is to kind of very shortly summarize it, it's kind of like a MOBA, in the sense that the title, like the words of the genre MOBA, they fit with what my game is, even though it's not really like the existing MOBAs. So it's essentially like a combat sport where the point is to defend your home building. And if you destroy the other team's home building, you win that match. The way you do it is through a very cool combat system, which is really the appeal of the game. Essentially, it's a directional combat system, not unlike mount&blade and so on, if you ever played that game. And I'll show you a little bit more how the combat works in a second. So let me just go through all the features and stuff in this video and show you what the game is like right now, and kind of run through what I've been doing the last month, essentially. All right, so first thing is there's movement. I won't go too much into detail. You have a custom modeled character that I made and animated and so on. The animations and all the art that you see is very placeholder, don't get me wrong. But you know, it's all like homemade, and yeah, it feels very responsive. It's quite nice. You also have some camera controls in the sense that you can zoom in and out quite nicely, smooth interpolation between zooms and so on. And there's also an offset, so if you look at my dude, you can see that he's looking a little bit to the right. If I show you my other client, which is connected to the same map, you can see that he spawned on another team and he's looking to the left, right? So this is a team 2 player, and the camera is also offsetted. So yeah, we have some art here, not too much, it's really placeholder. And essentially, our character has a health, he has a unique ID, and he also has a team that is automatically assigned as you join the server. Okay, so currently the ID is just automatically given. You can change your name, and I'll show you that in a second. So let's just kind of meet up with my client here and show you that everything is in fact networked, which I'm very happy with. This is very not easy to do, to say the least. So here we go. So everything is beautifully networked and so on, and you can fight. So the way the combat works is, as it stands, it's very simple, but it's going to get a lot more complex later on. It's directional, so when I click the mouse, it's going to try and figure out what you were trying to do. To show you, I have a little bit of a debug kind of thing where you can see now that this is my cursor, this sphere. It's just a placeholder, and you can see that when I click left of my character, left, I mean, from my perspective anyway, then he's going to do that. When I click right, he's going to do that. When I click in front of him, he's going to stab. And it's essentially like, I can customize this. It's quite nicely implemented. I'm pretty happy with how I did it, where I can just add as many attack directions as I really want. Currently there's only 3. If you click behind, he does also a stab currently. But that's really just a content thing. Like if I make more animations and so on, I can just add as many as I want, which is really cool. So what I imagine is that different weapons will have different attack types. So a spear might have, mostly stabs and so on, but from different sides, and then a sword behaves differently than an axe does, and so on and so forth. Currently there's only a sword. But yeah, so, and if you click once and you just let go of the mouse button, he's gonna take the direction relative to your character, okay? So if I click right and left, blah, blah, blah. However, if I click somewhere, anywhere, and then I move the mouse left or right, if I click and hold, he's also gonna adjust, right? And you see these red lines are debug lines, just to show me like where the calculation is being made. So you can see that it uses that line for a direction. So that way you can actually do very quick movements like that. But you can also, like, if it doesn't feel very, you know, responsive or whatever, you can always hold and then move and adjust without really clicking, spamming, or anything like that. So you can see it's very, you know, it takes a while to get used to, but once you do, it's actually pretty intuitive, which is exactly what I want. Like, I want the combat system to be not easy. I want it to be intuitive, but I also want it to be difficult so that someone who's really good at the game is actually just better. Like, it's not like a stats thing in most games. You just have better stats or something, or you're leveled up or whatever. In my game, I think most things will behave the exact same. It's just that you get better as a person playing the game. So it's very much reflex based and so on. That's kind of what I'm going for, even though it's pretty bare bones right now. But I'm planning a lot more combat, you know, mechanics later on. And when you right click, you block. So let me just hide the mouse again. When you right click, you block, and you go into a sort of strafing mode. So if you look, he'll actually track my mouse. Whereas if I'm not blocking, he doesn't track the mouse as I move. So currently there's no strafing animation, so you kind of like moonwalk and stuff, but that's just, you know, content. But it works. So in block mode, you're kind of like locking onto characters. So I imagine in a fight, you would be blocking most of the time. And that way you can control, you know, how you attack. And when you click then, you actually do a strike, and then you go straight back to blocking, even though I never lifted my mouse. Sorry, I never lifted my finger off of the right mouse button like that. So there you go. That way you can fight. You can also do this by holding shift. So if I hold shift, I go into strafe mode without blocking at all. And then you can also do that stuff. Currently, it's a defined amount of damage. So if I attack my enemy character here, that was a little bug there. If I attack my dude, you can see I deal about 15 damage. Actually, exactly 15 damage. Later on, the movements of the sword and the velocities and so on will play a role, as will the armor that you're wearing and the damage type that the weapon does, and all that stuff is going to matter. So you'll be doing dynamic amounts of damage, essentially, and maybe even where you hit. So if you hit someone in the head, it'll do more damage and so on. This is all kind of stuff for later, but currently you can fight. So you get a nice little sound effect that I do not own copyright-wise. I'm very sorry. It is stolen. Everything else in the game, I think, actually except for the ground textures here, the sand and the grass, and the sounds, everything else is custom made. So I still need to produce some sounds and so on, but that's really not that easy, so I'm kind of using placeholders right now. Anyway, so that's combat, and it's very cool. Like, it's very, very simple currently, but I feel like it's already like really nice. Like, I don't know, I like it so far. It's really cool. It feels intuitive and it feels nice, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tweaking to do and so on, but I really like it so far. So of course you can do this with the other guy and so on. So let's just let me kill this dude. There's a little issue with the collision box on that left strike I noticed, so that's a little bug. So anyway, when you die, you go into a really placeholder ragdoll mode, and there's a little corpse there, and the guy will respawn after 5 seconds currently, and he respawns back at base. And that's really all that happens. And the whole point of the game is to destroy the other guy's base, so you really just, like, it doesn't matter how many times you die or whatever, that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is defending your base. So what I can imagine is having like shield walls and stuff defending this, having like a defender, like a goalie, you know, quote unquote, having some attackers and so on. I can imagine all kinds of strategic stuff. There's a lot more planned, just like I said. You know, like I keep saying, there's a lot more planned for this. It's very bare bones, but you know, it's pretty cool. And then another feature that is in the game currently is that you can chat. So if I press enter, I can type whatever. So hello world, and of course it's networked and so on. So the other guy will receive, all the other connected players will receive the messages and so on. So you can also say some whoops, hi. And another cool thing that I added is there's a name command currently, so I can actually /name and change my name, and it'll effectively change my character's name. That's just, you know, stuff for, you know, until I really implement this stuff properly, especially for like playtesting and so on. I'm kind of adding these features, but yeah, there's a whole framework for commands and so on, and it's really cool. I'm very proud of that as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like, it's pretty sweet, to be honest. And as it stands, this is alpha version 2.1, and it's essentially the first real prototype of the game. So I think Project Awesome, or Possum as I call it, is officially off its off its ass. It's really kind of taking shape now. It's turning into a real game. So the next thing I'm going to do is, so as I said, I'm going to do a kind of a play test with hopefully a couple of people. I don't know how many people I'll be able to round up to do a little stress test and a little lag test and see how it goes. And I'll record that for sure and patch it onto the end of this video, just like last time, like devblog 2, I think. Also, I added a giant for admin commands, like only I can do this, which is kind of just having some fun. I'm a giant! Woo! Oh yeah! Okay, so I'm about to start, like the people should be trickling in now. So this is Urska. He's already tested it before. And I think there's like, I don't know, like 6 other people or so plan to join. I hope they all manage to connect and so on. And I'm really curious how it's going to hold up. Okay, so there's another person here. Very nice. So that's number 2. And then there's a bunch more coming. So that's Urska. I'm just gonna like name myself real quick. I'm Jordy, and anytime now. Let me see some more people pop in. Hopefully, anyway. All right, there's another one. And I think there's like 2 more people or so. So I went into God mode. Okay, so we're in game now, and a bunch of people have connected. Don't know who some of these people are, but we're kind of like debugging and stuff. So they're kind of giving their opinions on what's going on and all that, you know, how the combat system feels, and primarily my thing. So they're saying that the tweaking thing is not good. So you should not be able to reset an attack immediately, which is it's a good point. Makes a lot of sense. Friendly fire might get complicated. Yes, that's a fair point. the arc that the shield blocks feels very narrow. Okay. Where the hell did they go? Okay. Yeah, we got you. All right, for real now. Shit. Man, I cannot believe that we're playing my game that I made. It's crazy. I mean, it's pretty shitty right now. I'm feeling like, wow, I need to do a lot of work on the combat specifically. It feels a little clumsy, and everyone's like kind of running around like crazy and stuff. So that's going to take a lot of work. But it's really good to see. That's really funny. Trying to get in. Wait, whoa. I don't even know who that is. I'm gonna stick by the VIB. The very important building. Oh no! Son of a bitch. I can see now how this could be a thing. Oh, I got you. I got you. Get the fuck out of my base. Oh, that's funny. Oh, nice. Yes, I got you. Oh, that's funny. All right. I can see how that would become a problem. I think I need to give my like home base players like a boost in speed or something like that, at least, so they never have to like, you know, they don't come across that like running attacking. Or maybe if you attack, you get a little bit slower. Maybe that's a thing. Whoops. That could be a thing. Love taps. Baby love taps. So, oh. So later on, shields will absolutely have durability, and not only that, but when you get hit, you're also going to get like bounced around and stuff. Oh wow! Okay, we actually won. So. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially a game, technically playable and stuff like that. It works, it's networked. I'm not getting an insane amount of lag or anything. It requires a lot of work still, but... Fuck it. Let me quickly set my name. Alright, I just realized that I shouldn't have like debug options.